everybody, this is Josh Rogers here in Jacksonville with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here with Jamie Babier, and she's with Brightway Insurance. She's going to teach us all about flood insurance. So, Jamie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Josh?
I'm awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time real quick. So let's use this scenario. We have a lot of out-of-town buyers and northern buyers that want to move to the warm, sunny Florida, and their minds immediately jump to hurricanes and floods. And so that opens the whole conversation of insurance. And what the heck is flood insurance? Is it required? How much is it? And who needs it? So if you will, sort of take it away and just scratch the surface on this topic for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get asked that question a lot, like you mentioned, especially from out-of-state buyers who are moving into Florida or purchasing a home in Florida. I think they hear about hurricanes and get scared, but since Hurricane Sandy, especially the northern country, buyers have all gotten a little nervous about what a hurricane can do as far as flooding is concerned. So flooding in Florida it's the same, the insurance here is the same program as it is across the nation. FEMA runs it through the National Flood Insurance Program. So the rates are standardized, the coverage is standardized, the prices are the same across the board for the most part. So the tricky part is getting the knowledge out to consumers, to buyers and homeowners, and let them know the importance of it, when it's needed, and when it would be used.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So let's go right into that transition.
Okay.
Who needs flood insurance?
Okay, so since I'm in the business of risk management, the answer is everybody. Everybody needs flood insurance, but who will be required to have it is anyone who owns a home that has a mortgage and is in a high hazard flood zone. It's called a special flood hazard area through FEMA. So FEMA sets those zones. It's what most people think of when you say you're in a flood zone, but technically the entire state of Florida is in a flood zone, but some are higher hazard than others. So if you're in the high hazard flood zone, FEMA has determined that you have 1% chance or greater annually of having a flood. And then those people who are in the low hazard zones will not be required by a lien holder to keep flood insurance because there is less than 1% chance annually that they'll have a flood, but it is still recommended. And those preferred premiums for those lower hazard zones are very inexpensive. They're $400 or less a year, and it's a quick and easy policy to get. So it's something we do recommend even when you're not in the high hazard zone. And things to remember are that the flooding is not necessarily flash flooding from the ocean. It could be mud flow, drainage. It could be days and days of sitting rain where that water is just standing in your yard and getting under your doorway, causing foundation issues or siding issues. So there's a lot of additional factors that come into play for flood insurance other than just that flash flood. Just that crazy hurricane situation where your entire house is underwater in a matter of minutes. So it's something we definitely recommend and urge people, I guess, to consider at least getting minimal coverage, pretty significantly.
Sure, perfect. Okay, so I just want to bounce back on a couple of points that you mentioned. So you said if you have a lien holder, which means if people take out a loan, the mortgage company is going to require that if you're in this quote-unquote flood zone. How can somebody find out if they're in the flood zone or not?
Okay, the easiest way is to ask me. So I know you've done it before where if you have a buyer you're showing a couple properties to, if there's any concern, giving me a call and I'm able to run those determinations for you very quickly, and you can let your buyers know. There's websites you can go to for the National Flood Insurance Program, and you'll just type in an address there and it'll tell you whether you're in the high hazard zone or not. But the easiest way is really to call your agent and let us make that formal determination based on the FEMA zones, and we can run it for you.
Okay, perfect. And so if somebody bought a property for cash, then it's not required by anybody because essentially it's their own risk and their own asset that's liable, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Still
got it. Yeah, certainly. And to add to your point about it's not just floods from rivers or streams or the ocean. Here in Florida, I know during the summer we have some just monster thunderstorms that roll through in the afternoon, and it is so much water that it doesn't have enough time to drain, and then all of a sudden it starts coming in your doors. So we were talking before, what actually defines flood coverage?
Flood coverage is, it's a very long definition, but the way to think about it, best is that it's rising water from the outside. So, like you just mentioned, that those days of, thunderstorms over the summer where, there's 5 days straight of nonstop rain and draining is not acting like it should. So that standing water could be a flood. It could be runoff drainage if you're on any sort of an incline or the bottom of a hill. It could be mud flow. But water damage from like plumbing, any pipes inside, your sump pump outside, water damage that comes from those type of systems is not considered flood. That's covered under a basic home insurance policy. And then if the proximate cause, if you will, is the hurricane, so like if a hurricane wind causes roof damage and rain gets inside that way, that would not be considered flooding. That would be, that would be covered under a basic home insurance policy under the hurricane premium.
Okay, I got you.
Does that answer?
So let's just, yeah, perfect. That was great. And so just so I can be clear, if I have hurricane coverage and I have homeowners insurance, but I'm not in a flood zone, so I don't spend a couple $100s a year for the flood insurance, and then I have one of those crazy thunderstorms during the summer, and water is rising, comes in from the outside, then I'm up the creek without a paddle.
That's a great question that I did not prompt you for, actually. Yeah, so, and it happens a lot. I mean, technically, the FEMA, their numbers, their technical numbers are more than 30% of flood claims through the National Flood Insurance Program are from people that are not in that high hazard zone. So 30% of the people, of the claims are not in that, are not required to hold insurance. So, I mean, we've seen just very minor damage with flooring and carpets and vanities and things like that. I mean, it could cost upwards of $20,000, and that is not covered under any situation in your home insurance. So, I mean, if you have the funds, then, you just pay for it. You can get a loan through FEMA for that, but it's an interest-bearing loan. I mean, you have to pay it back. It's not insurance. It's not given to you. So there's options, but they're definitely not nearly as good as paying $300 a year and having some basic coverage.
Sure, got it. Okay, perfect. I love it. Any last things that I didn't ask you, and also how can people get in touch with you, because you can write policies for the entire state of Florida, right?
Correct. Yep. And I'm an insurance nerd, so I'm happy to answer questions for people outside of Florida also. So no, I don't think. I mean, I do just urge people to at least take a look at what the preferred rates are for those non-high hazard zones. Even just a basic $20,000 policy can help if ever that need arises, and those are very inexpensive. So that's all I ask. I ask that you just consider it and you think about what that opportunity cost is worth. That $400 that you're not spending. So you can reach me by telephone. My office is 904-823-3699. And will you post my email, or do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead and give your email, and then I'll also put your contact info in the comment section.
Okay, so it's jamie.bavier@brightway.com, and Jamie is JAIME B as in boy, A, V as in Victor, IER @brightway.com.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So for everybody watching, you guys just keep watching. We're going to keep shooting these videos. Yes, this is fun hanging out with Jamie, but we're not doing this for fun. We're doing it to be number one. So if you're searching for a home in or around Jacksonville or for Florida as a whole, or even looking for insurance or have questions, reach out to me, reach out to Jamie. And Jamie, we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks, Josh. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.